Today's daily recap for BTG Beyond the Gates is for Friday, November the 21st, 2025. You know what, everybody? I'm a little bit mad. I'm a little bit mad at the writing in this area. My sinuses are acting up, y'all. In this area. Anita's at Orphe Jeans. She was supposed to be meeting, no, she was meeting with Laura. But Nicole ends up calling Laura because she needs Laura to help with something, right? And Laura asks, Anita, can I, go help Nicole and then I'll touch back bases with you, right? And Anita's like, sure. And of course it should be sure because really Laura is Nicole's assistant, right? So as Laura gets up to go out the door, and there was Leslie. She's coming in and she goes, steps in front of her, and she taunts her some more. And Laura's just standing there looking scared, looking at her. And Anita is looking at this situation, right? And then she goes, I'm just joking with you. And Laura takes off. And she goes, oh, Miss Anita. And she sits down. She has that box. And oh, she finished addressing all the envelopes. And except for, look, Anita haven't figured out all the people she crossed out yet. But anyway, right? And Anita told her, "What? I saw what you were doing over there." She goes, "What?" She goes, "I saw the way you were harassing Laura." That girl jumps out of her skin at every little, I don't know why. So Anita says, "You know what? You know why, and I know why. You were the one that ran her off that road." No, that is absolutely not true. And so she goes, "You know what? But save that." She says, Laura is like family to my daughter, Nicole, which means she's like family to me. If I ever see you trying to intimidate her again, she said, you're not going to like what's going to happen. And she goes, no, Miss Anita, no, no, I wasn't intimidated. You got the wrong idea. And no, because, I respect you. You're my benefactor. My life has changed because of you, whatever, right? And so Anita looked at the tickets and she goes, "Thank you so much for you finishing this." And she goes, "But I'm ready for my next assignment." Anita says, "Well, that's is all I have for you right now." Okay, that's all I got. And Leslie was going to say something else, but the phone rang. It was the new clinical trial doctor needed her over at uh, Garland Memorial. That's the name of that hospital. To talk to her about, the trial. So she had to go. And Anita talked to Vernon on the phone. Vernon was at the club. Him and Martin were talking politics, and Vernon was trying to light a fire under Martin, saying that midterms are coming up and he's not going to be strong. You know, he's going to have to do more for the community so the community could remember him and blah, 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 blah. Um, and then we have Leslie now showing up at the hospital because she's coming to meet the clinical trial doctor. And Laura was coming to meet with Nicole. So I kind of think Leslie was standing there at the nurse's station. Laura gets off the elevator and she needs to pass Leslie. And Leslie was kind of closer to the elevator. And Laura's trying to get off. And Leslie, she just looks at her like, and Leslie stands in front of her, blocking her. And Laura said, move out of my way. And then Leslie says some taunting things, and and she goes, I don't know why you feel you got to jump out of your skin. She goes, you know exactly why. She goes, you and I both know. You ran me off the road and you tried to kill me a second time here in this hospital. Right. And she goes, that is some defamatory statements. And if you keep it up, little girl, I'm gonna hit you with a defamation of character lawsuit. And Laura says, for one thing, I'm not a little girl. She says, and you do whatever you want to do because you and I both know the truth. And so Laura's trying walks around her and is at the nurse's station, and Leslie goes, you know, if I would have wanted you dead, worms would be feed maggots or worms or whatever she said would be feeding off of your dead carcass now. And Laura's looking at her. Here's Laura's face. Mad, but like gruesome and like, oh God, you're creepy. Right? And then Nicole comes stepping out of her office and said, what's going on here? And you could see Laura scared. And Leslie goes, oh, we were just talking about how great it is to volunteer at Winterfest. Isn't that right, Laura? What should have been said out of Laura's mouth would have been absolutely not. She was threatening me. She was making veiled, morbid threats that if she really wanted me dead, maggots would be feasting off of my flesh right now. And then I would look back at Leslie like, isn't that right, Leslie? Because after she scared Laura, she goes, I'm just joking. No, no, nope. So where I said I'm kind of mad, they already let Leslie get away with the attempted murder of Laura twice. They did. And now for it to be written in the script that she is bullying and taunting, I don't like that. Because you're either going to let it go that she got away with it and let there be no inner what do you call it, interactions between the two at all. There's no need to write that there are interactions between these two unless you are bringing Leslie to justice, which it looks like they're not, which is another ridiculous thing. You have her jacket, you have her DNA, you have the motorcycle where you know she was on the motorcycle, her body, her width. The helmet that you got of hers had a scar, I mean, a scratch on it in the same places in the film, in the video. And you got the video of her going into her room in the hospital with a wig on. And you're going to tell me that's not enough circumstantial evidence. People have been convicted on less. But this chick is walking around just bragging and terrorizing. I don't I don't like that part. And I don't like that they're allowing it to happen and she's feeling so good about the terrorizing and what she's doing. I don't That's what I'm saying. Today left a bad taste in my mouth. It really did. Then we have Smitty talking to Tyrell. He was saying, yeah, he's considering UCLA because of his girlfriend. And Smitty is saying, look, before you make that choice, because that's a life choice, where you're going to spend the next 4 years, make sure it's because it's where you wanted to go, not doing it for someone else. And here's the thing. Not doing it for someone else who's never expressed that's where she really want to go, but her parents insist on her going there. So you don't have to now go to the school that somebody else's parents are insisting they go to. You make that choice and you choose. So of course he talks to Martin about it. Martin wanted to fly off the house. I'm so sick of Martin. Never learning anything. Anything. Smitty talked him down and says, no, because Martin, you do what you did when you ran to that principal, when Tyrell was being bullied, made things worse. When he flew off the handle and did what he did with take it, telling Samantha she can't work with Chelsea. He goes, no, Martin, you're not gonna do this because you're gonna make him apply for UCLA out of spite. You're gonna run our son. Nope. You're not. So anyway, then Martin talked to Smitty about him and Vernon's conversation, about him getting more serious in politics. And Smitty says, we're behind you, but Martin, this time around, you have to promise me the family comes first. Because when you first, got into Congress, we didn't see you and you were never around. And so he goes, no, I promise family first, right? And the funny thing is, Vernon ought to know that. Vernon didn't abandon Anita and the kids when he was running for the Senate and became senator. He balanced that, right? So anyway, everybody, Carlton, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. Carlton goes up in front of Nicole's face again, talking about, I just want to talk about our friendship. I want to make sure. She goes, what about our friendship, Carlton? I mean, we were friends before, what happened between us. And she goes, oh, you mean where I let you know that it was moving way too fast. I'm not ready to be in a relationship so soon after my divorce. He goes, yeah, yeah. She goes, and I still mean that. So he says, but we're friends and I just want to make sure Winterfest is coming and blah, blah, blah. And then he brought up what happened at prior Winterfests, with the family, because he's been around their family forever, right? And she's laughing, they're laughing, but Nicole ain't making no commitments to him. And he walks out. Now Leslie's still at the nurse's station, loitering, probably trying to see if she could scare Laura again. But Laura didn't walk by Leslie. I didn't see them interact again. Thank God, or I really would have had to just turn off, switch my computer because I don't watch it live. So anyway, Leslie looks at him as he's walking by. She goes, Carlton, is it? Can I call you Carlton? And he looked at her. He says, it all depends on why you want to. She said, because we both have something in common. And he looked at her like, I don't know what you think I got in common with you. And he goes, oh, yeah. And what would that be? You and I both don't want Ted and Nicole to get back together again. So we need to work together to make sure that don't happen. And you know him, he's standing there looking like, oh, you know what? You got my attention. You can call me Carl. you know. And I said, oh, good, good. Go in leagues with Leslie. And ultimately, whatever both of your little scheme is going to be, it's going to backfire. And that's going to forever ruin your chances with Nicole. When she finds out that you were working with Leslie to manipulate a relationship of Nicole's and Ted's, okay, go for it. That sounds like a winner to me, right? So anyway, everybody, that was it. I'm not going to read Comment Corner today. I've got YouTube Live for those of you who are also my General Hospital Recap fans, tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 p.m. Central time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be live on YouTube. So set your calendar, set your alarms, and I will see you there.